At this moment, there is not sufficient control of the financial markets, and due to this, we have to get a new regulatory system on a global basis, because up to now, the solutions are more on a nationwide basis, and we have a global economy.
I think it's very important that all these important people get together and they will talk about the possible solutions, about how to tackle the crisis.
If we come to an agreement, for example, on the value of assets which are impaired, which are damaged, and that agreement is international, that would be a tremendous step forward for the regulation of world financial markets.
For me, it seems that the most important point is that in the last years, we always had a lot of problems with speculation.
We're talking about a worldwide situation, problem. We're talking about a worldwide solution. However, we can see inside the countries that there is protectionism inside the countries. So it's a little bit incomprehensible that these countries are looking for a global solution, and afterwards, inside the barriers, they're talking about protectionism.
What I see it's important in G20 is that they want to come to act together, to do something to protect the global economy, protect the global trade, protect, I don't know, the institutions, the IMF, to work this crisis together. And then, obviously, each country needs to come to their own home and think over it, but also imply some other issues to their economies, because we have global problems, but then inside we also have national specific problems as well.
Regarding the fiscal stimulus strategy, what do you think about it? I mean, do you think it's going to be useful? Or are we just going to spend lots of taxpayers' money and it won't do anything, and the crisis will still be there? It will still last 2 or 3 years, maybe more, who knows? And at the end of it all, when all assets are back to their reasonable values, and everything comes down, and we start to generate wealth again, we'll just have a big debt.
It looks like that there is a transparent way to be able to just generate a consensus, but we're not seeing that. Governments are not just conveying the message and be able to just say, okay, this is what we're doing. You got to be able to try to convey those technical elements, and to be able to just put it in a very straightforward manner, because otherwise people will be very concerned, very skeptical about it.
What have we got since Washington? A definition of what must go into enter the contract. 2 markets, one in the US, one in Europe, to trade, to make information publicly known about these contracts. Those, quite frankly, are remarkable advances in transparency. And if we don't have transparency, we'll have financial protectionism. And that's the most dangerous type of protectionism.
I happen to think that consumerism is at the heart of our real issues here, and I find it amazing that many of our leaders are out there saying, go out there, buy more, spend more, consume more, as if this is supposed to be a solution to a problem of debt. And I don't know, for me it seems very difficult to understand. Perhaps I don't understand the mechanisms well enough, but I think consumerism is an unsustainable path, and I'd like to see an alternative solution proposed.
Let me act as the professor right now, okay? So let me grasp what is your opinion, your reaction on anything that we've talked about. What do you receive from the government, your expectations, anything?
I've read some studies that explain that there's a relationship between the quantity of money that it's in the system and the crisis that is happening. Each time in history that there was not enough money in the system, there was a crisis again. And it's what's happening right now. We have a problem of money. We have a problem of liquidity. And right now what's happening is the governments and the banks are injecting that money inside the economy again. So there are some studies that explain that relationship between the amount of money in the system and the crisis that is taking place in the system right now, in that moment.
One of the key here is trust, confidence, and people are not having trust. Banks don't trust each other, and the interbank system is not trustful enough. So that's a question that we have to address here. It's not that there is not enough money. The money, it is there, but the question goes back to a very key root of these consequences, the fact that people are lacking confidence. If you don't trust me, you're not going to lend me money.
Trust is money. That's the problem. If you have money, you'll be trusted. If you don't have money, you won't be trusted.
Well, that's one perspective. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is completely right or what you're saying is completely wrong. Both perspectives are, if you unify them, it's going to be a possible solution. Funds and confidence. Either one, no, it has to be together, otherwise it's not going to work out.
Personally, I think confidence is kind of irrelevant. Why do I think that? Because first of all, how did we run out of money? How did we run out of liquidity? Why is that the situation, is my question. And the situation is because we got into debt. The money didn't exist in the first place. Okay, so that's the real problem. They were lending assets to each other that did not exist. So now we have to create money to bail out all of these bad assets because the money never existed in the first place.
I wanted to bring forward the more human part of the crisis because we are speaking so much of our financial systems, of what can our states do by putting more money into the economies, and we are forgetting at the same time that in the southern countries there are children dying of hunger, and now because of the crisis more than the years before. So now I can see that in this G20 summit there is a group that will deal on countries that are on developing countries.
That really was extremely interesting. And I think, again, a lot of the points, although, the sort of elements of the debate look different, they're all interrelated.
Thank you, all of you for coming and participating lively. Also, of course, thanking the embassy, thanking Bill for this initiative, sharing with us what they're doing, thanking, of course, Complutense for giving us the space.